Have you spent time with our neighbors to the south, home to the world-famous Roundup and Happy Canyon Show? Let's explore the history and culture of Pendleton, Oregon. Let her buck today on Hometown. Let's take a step back in time and meet some of the people, places, and connections that built the thriving cities we enjoy. History is beautiful, brave, and inspiring, but it is also harsh, dark, and heartbreaking. In the words of the 1966 Clint Eastwood epic Western film, history includes it all: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The thing is, this isn't that different from how it is today. Our good, bad, and ugly may differ, but humanity is astonishingly and sometimes disappointingly consistent. American writer Robert Penn Warren explained it this way: history cannot give us a program for the future, but it can give us a fuller understanding of ourselves and of our common humanity so that we can better face the future. Today, we explore the heritage of Pendleton, its settlers, and its railroad, and discover the extensive underground world hidden away under the expanding city. Let's saddle up and go back in time to enjoy our shared history, an essential ingredient in the remarkable story of us.
Cricket, Seattle has the Space Needle, San Francisco has cable cars, and we are where in Pendleton?
You are underground in Pendleton, under the city streets of the downtown area.
Well, thank you for having Hometown here today. And where are we actually standing?
Right now, we're standing in Hop Singh's Chinese Laundry. He operated for over 30 years in Pendleton.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 30 years in this space. So for someone who's like, okay, you're underground, what does that mean?
That means that you're not like crawling through a bunch of old tunnels or anything. Originally, it was service tunnels and basements to stay out of the weather, to be able to deliver things, to store things. But Pendleton's water table is very near the surface. So there are cisterns throughout this area. People go, oh, is it a secret underground Chinese city? No, it's just a great utilization of space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it covered how many city blocks?
16. It's under 16 city blocks of the downtown area.
And it started about when?
It started in the 1880s, probably mid to late 1880s by the time it was finished. And it was hand dug with the help of Chinese laborers who were working for a white contractor. It's all put together with a basalt rock called Elgin rock, and that came from this area. And it just businesses operated underground, and not all at the same time, but over a 70-year time span. So, and when people come on the tour, they're going to see like about 6 different businesses, and they're only under one half of one block. Yeah. And think how many businesses operated over a 70-year time span under 16 full blocks.
Wow.
A bunch.
Well, even here, so this man came from China. Mm-hmm. And so during this time, a lot of Chinese came to America to do what?
Yes. Well, they came, they needed work. China was in a Great Depression and people were starving to death. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that brought them was gold. We spread rumors across China that said, you know, come to America, make your fortune. And Chinese men came by the tens of thousands in hopes of striking it rich, but at the very least in hoping to earn enough money to be able to send back to China and keep other people from starving to death.
Exactly.
Well, they got here, and many of them worked on the railroads, but as the railroads played out, then they had to take other jobs. And as well, a lot of them were in mining too. So you will find Chinese mining sites throughout the Eastern Oregon.
Yeah. Well, and this is fascinating to me. Okay, so we had the Oregon Trail here, and then we had the railroad, and then we had gold, and then the Pendleton Woolen Mills, and then we have the Roundup. So, you know, Pendleton was a hopping place.
It was. We were one of the biggest sheep producers in the world for a while there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And what are some of the other businesses that were here underground?
You had the Empire Ice Cream Company, the Shamrock Card Room, you have the Prohibition Card Room, you have the downstairs operation of the Empire Meat Market, and the Duck Pin Bowling Alley. Yeah. And those are just on the first part of the tour.
Right.
On the second part of the tour, we take people up through the Cozy Rooms, which is an old bordello that was closed down in 1953. Although
it operated that long.
Yeah, operated that long, but it actually operated longer because after they closed them down, she left Pendleton, went to Walla Walla.
The madam.
And yes, Stella Darby. And then she discreetly came back and opened the Cozy Rooms too in the apartments above the underground tour offices. And she operated there till 1967. And then she retired and went back to Walla Walla.
As we're here, people will probably say, well, you know, there are a lot of things that happened here that maybe weren't on the up and up. But there really were a lot of things that were on the up and up.
That were good as well.
I mean, yeah, here this man is, he had this laundry and he had the bath so people could come. And we've talked a little bit about some of the racial things, though, and that's really hard to even hear about even today.
It is, but it's history. And every once in a while you'll have someone on a tour that says, well, you can't say that, you can't talk about that. And they go, well, not rewrite history, it's history. That's how we learn, we look back. Right. And that's how we learn. And this is what happened. Right. And it wasn't good, but we learned from it.
Right, not to do it again.
Yeah, not to do it
but
again.
But even for this man, I mean, the sundowner, so he could even go out on the street
after sundown.
After sundown,
right?
Yeah,
because he could be shot and with no consequences.
And can we even, I mean, just in our, first world, society today, to think that, that is even something that you have to think about.
Right.
It's sad. So,
right.
Cricket, what do you love about your job?
Because I get to meet some of the nicest people from all over the world, and I get to share my passion, my love of the underground. My daughter is also a tour guide. For a while, our grandson was a tour guide. Our family loves the underground. It's a wonderful history. We love Pendleton. We're not born and raised here, but it's home now.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So the underground actually got started on the tour, as we have seen and are seeing here today. About when? In
1989, they opened their first tour. First year, 12,500 people came through. Second year, 25,000 people came through, and it has just continued to increase year by year. Yeah, we probably leveled out some by now, but...
Well, it's absolutely amazing to take a step back in time and to understand just a little bit about what was happening here. But with the ice cream parlor and all this, I mean, this was a happening place down here.
It was.
And it's still
busy.
Well, and it still is with the amount of people who come through here.
Yeah.
So what are some of the reactions that people say after they've been down here?
A lot of people say, I always go, so did it meet your expectations? And a lot of people will say, no, it exceeded my expectations. I didn't know what we were in for. Once in a while, you'll have a couple and he's sitting there like this, and you go, how many of you wanted to come on this tour? Everybody raised their hand, but him, who didn't want to come on this tour, he kind of raises his hand. And by the time he's out of the Shamrock Card Room, you've got him hooked.
Isn't that something?
And so at the end of the tour, I say, now who didn't want to come on this tour? And he goes, and I go, so what'd you think? And he goes, it was amazing.
Amazing.
And, yeah.
I love it.
And you just look at our guest book and people just, because it brings history to life. Yeah. And anybody who's interested in history loves that.
And we're going to go on a tour now. And thank you for sharing. And let's go and see more of the underground.
Come with me.
All right. Thanks, Cricket.
So they manufactured the ice cream here below ground, though, and they used hand crank ice cream makers just like people were using at home. Okay. They were just making a whole lot more of it. And they didn't make all those fancy flavors we have today. No bubble gum?
No, vanilla's fine with me.
And they used fresh fruit and syrups to flavor the ice cream. Now, they use hand crank ice cream makers. That's a whole lot of cranking going on, right? So what do you suppose a very coveted job in this town was for 9, 10, 11-year-old boys?
Tasting it.
Cranking ice cream. And they got paid an ice cream cone.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
So they did all that work. So and what's this right here?
And this is a butter churn. Sure. This is a better churn. Cream cans, nut chopper. These are the old paper straws with the wax coating that once you bent them, they were pretty much worthless.
Yes.
And when you ordered your ice cream, you ordered it by its nickname. I need a brick of ice cream. I need 2 bricks of ice cream.
So now we do a half a gallon
And when you got your ice cream home, you did not scoop it out with a scoop the way we do today. You laid your carton out flat and used a knife to cut equal portions. If you've ever heard the expression, a slice of ice cream, that's what they're talking about.
Cricket, thank you so much for taking us on the tour of the underground. You do a great job.
Thank you. I'm so glad you came.
It was wonderful. And Brooke Armstrong, you are the executive director here, and your roots go really deep.
They do. Starting back in the late 1980s when we started the underground, my mom and grandma were a big part of getting it started, decorating the rooms, and so from the time I was about 11, 12 years old, I was down here with them running around through the tunnels and just grew up down here.
And you have about how many people come through a year?
We have approximately 17 to 20,000 people come each year from all over the world. Yeah, it's amazing the places that we get people come visit us from. So.
All right, and it's a nonprofit organization,
Yes,
is that correct?
we are a 501c3 nonprofit.
Okay, so if someone wants to make a donation, they can go to your website.
Absolutely. Well, they just call us here. A lot of stuff we're not up with the new ages. We do make you call the office to do most things, and you can't really do them online, but you know, we kind of like it that way.
Well, very good. And your website again is
www.pendletonundergroundtours.org.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Well, Brooke, thank you, and Cricket, thank you, and for being on Hometown, and we're going to share news about Pendleton Underground and how people can learn about our history here in Pendleton.
Great. Well, thank you for coming.
Shannon, it's great to be here with you. I'm enjoying the Heritage Museum here. Am I getting the name right?
It's Heritage Station
Heritage
Museum.
Station Museum. Yes, which makes sense because we are here at a train station or depot. And in fact, right behind us, I think, is some original stuff from.
So our members did a really good job of replicating what was here. By the time they got this building, there was not much left in it.
So, had it been really modernized?
It had been empty for a bit.
Okay.
And so it had, you know, when buildings sit empty, they deteriorate very quickly, especially when they're built in early 1900s.
For sure.
Yeah.
But this is how it would have looked at the train station back in those early days. And we have here a very important place for Pendleton where people can come and learn about the history and what happened here before. How did you become involved with it?
So I actually went to school for both business and anthropology. I have, since I was very young, loved history. It's just been a big part of my life. And so I knew that I wanted to work in history in some way. And then in college, I started doing tutoring, and that led to a love of teaching and sharing. Yes. But I wasn't quite prepared to go into the school system. I wanted to do something a little bit more adventurous. And so this is it. I get to do educational programming with the public. So it's adults, children, families. So it's really a lot of fun, and it's a more creative way to share education. It's immersive.
Hands-on.
So, yeah, very hands-on. So it's exciting to do it this way.
So you probably have a lot of school kids come through in groups.
Yes, actually, we're gearing up for our 4th grade tours right now. And you know, my eyes get really big when I say that, because we get over 500 4th grade students from around the county. And so it can be, it's a lot of fun, but it's crazy. And we love it every year. You know, we look forward to it. And so those will start in mid-April and they go through the end of May. So all teachers in Umatilla County get a notice for 4th grade that they get to do this for free.
Yeah, I was thinking the 4th grade curriculum for history, right, goes right along with making a tour like this one.
They're studying Oregon Trail at that point, and then they're also talking about, you know, like local community government and things like that. So it ties in perfectly for them.
So how long has there actually been a museum here at this site?
So this site opened in 1988. And the original museum was just the depot building.
Okay.
And the expansion was not completed. They started that in the late 90s, and it was completed in 2003. And so that expansion really is our gift shop, our lobby, a classroom, and then an administrative wing. So that's where the collection is housed, and then all of our offices. So that the depot could be completely dedicated to just exhibits. And it has really expanded what we're capable of having out here.
Sure, and then you have some other historic buildings outside as well to go along with it that people can tour and look at. Yeah, really neat. So who's behind this? How's it funded? How's it supported?
So the Umatilla County Historical Society originally came together in 1974. It's a combination of two former entities that had become inactive. One of those was actually called the Umatilla County Historical Society, but it was based out of Hermiston. And then in Pendleton, we had the Pioneer Memorial Association. Both groups became inactive, but they still had a little bit of funds left over in their bank accounts. So as the discussion started that they wanted to revive something, those two entities agreed to donate everything they had. So that meant anything they had in their collection, which wasn't a lot, but yeah, there was enough. And then the money. And then from there, the members just started building. So we started with about 80 members.
How many are there now?
Now we have about 300.
Yes, significantly bigger.
Much bigger, yes.
Yeah. And these are people who really care about preserving some things from the past that are important and valuable to us, that help us understand who we are, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We have some amazing historians. I mean, I have several people who are actually in their 90s. You would not know it if you had a conversation with them. They are so sharp. But the amount of knowledge that they have, they're really why we have what we have, because they've been able to piece those things together, take what they know, find the artifacts that go with it, and combine it with the stories. And that's one of the things that we're really big on, is telling stories. We want to share those stories and educate people about the past. And so we really couldn't do it without those founding members to keep this going.
Sure. And as is often the case at museums like this, at least in the United States, we're looking at an era when expansion was happening across the country. In Pendleton and this area were being settled by white people. And I want to ask you in a minute about what was happening here before that. But as people came in, new people groups really came into this area. The railroad came in the late 1800s. And what difference did that make? I mean, we are here at a depot, a station.
Right. So initially, it really put a strain on the land itself. It wasn't used to supporting that number of people or animals. I mean, that's a big thing. People don't think about the fact that when you bring in those people who are farming and ranching, they bring animals with them. But there were already animals here, and there were already people here. So it did require more of the land, but also a shift in who got what, and where people could settle.
Yes.
But yeah, it's interesting to look back at how things started, and it was a small population. And at that time, you would come here and you would get 160 acres. It was just kind of given to you.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. But to see how just Pendleton came about, because someone who had that acreage actually gave away some of it for a courthouse and for different things that were needed. And then eventually it started to be sold off. But originally, some of the first pieces of land were donated to ensure that a town could be built.
And as the railroad came in, more and more people could come, and they did come. And the products from here could go out. Right.
So wool and wheat are our two biggest drivers here. Of course, now we have a few other things that are made here as well. But those really still, wheat is our big one. It's still very much a huge part. And then, of course, we still have the woolen mill.
So what's the most exciting for you as you're working here? What sort of makes your day?
Oh, there's so many things. Honestly, it's the stuff that probably the public doesn't see. I love to research, or when something comes in the door that someone says, would you like this for your collection? And it is something that I have been like, wow, that is so amazing. Where did it come from? Was that in an attic?
Yes.
So those are really the finds that's the part that I love. I get really excited about it. But again, the research, I love digging and looking for that answer, and because it can take you down so many different roads. And I realized that that's not fun for everybody, but I love to read and I love to discover. And so for me, that's the fun part of it.
It's a bit like being a detective, but a detective from the past.
Right.
Like going into the past as a detective.
And you have
find
to
out
go
what happened.
find all those pieces, digging through newspaper articles and archives. And so, I mean, if you don't mind some dust and spending a lot of hours in dark rooms, you know, it's not bad.
It actually sounds fascinating. It's like being kind of a detective, only you're going into the past and digging out everything that's there.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think I need to see more around here. So would you take me around a little bit and show
Love
me?
to.
what's
There's
here?
a lot to see here.
All right.
So this is our, what we call Umatilla Gold. It's one of our newer exhibits. It's one that went in during the pandemic. So it was a 5-year project. And this one really explores the history of wheat all throughout Umatilla County. So we're talking all the way back to the 1800s, how it got here to begin with, and why this area is really primed for it. This would have been the actual station portion where if you wanted to buy a ticket or you were waiting for a train, this is where you would be. So today we call it the Depot Gallery. And this is where we have a lot of changing exhibits. So this section is our Oregon Trail section.
Yes.
And this was just redone last year. And what we love about it is that we were able to add in the things that teachers have asked for, but we also put in an interactive station where visitors can play the Oregon Trail game online, just like we did back in the 80s.
Shannon, thank you so much. It was fun to have the tour. Here we are in the gift shop, always a fun place to end. But before we're finished with our chat, could you share a little bit about where we can find out more information about this great place?
Definitely. So we do have a website. It is heritagestationmuseum.org. And we also have social media. So Instagram, Facebook, those are also great places. And those are where you can see upcoming events that we have here as well.
Very good. Thanks.
Well, hello and good morning. Welcome to Blue Mountain Broadcasting headquarters. Today, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to take you along on one of the hometown episode film shoots to give you a little sneak peek, a behind the scenes look at what it takes to make an episode of Hometown. Okay, cool.
All right, let's bow our heads. Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity we have to reach out into our community.
Where in the world are we going?
Where in the world are we going? We're headed to Pendleton for the Underground and Heritage Station. We've taken the most gear we have ever had on a shoot, and I think this is the largest crew we've ever had as well, so should be fun.
This is Cricket, yes.
Oh,
Lowell.
so what I'll do is I'll take you in the way we would be going.
Perfect.
If we run a tour.
We're here at the Pendleton Underground, and Julie Keemer is off to the races having a conversation with the lady here that does tours. Filming an episode of Hometown is not as easy as you would think. There's a lot of logistics that go into it. First of all, you have to contact the people that you want to interview, the interest stories that you want to follow up. You have to schedule that.
All right, here we go. This is scene 222. Take one.
The guys that are here filming, they have to make sure that they follow a checklist, make sure they have all their camera equipment. If they forget one cable for one microphone, it could throw the whole interview completely on its head.
Oh, it sounded so smooth, beautiful.
Hi, what are we doing?
We're having a great time here at the Pendleton Underground. If I could just get my microphone to... So we're having a great time for Hometown. We're interviewing Cricket Nicholson with the Pendleton Underground Tours. And just so you know, there's a whole everything, tunnels and parlors and Chinese laundry. And this was a happening place in Pendleton.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. A production like this takes strong teamwork. With a short window of time to film many of these segments, they have to work fast and efficiently. The #1 goal of the Hometown Show is to bring the community together, to give individuals a glimpse into their city and what it has to offer. Do you enjoy hosting for the show?
I really do. It's fun. I love finding out more about different people in our community and what they're doing, what they're like, what they love, what gets them all passionate and fired up about things in life.
I have met individuals who have lived in this area their whole lives that are learning things about their community from the Hometown Show. This is what brings satisfaction to the people working behind the scenes to make this a reality. Well, I do hope that this has given you just a little glimpse into the work that it takes to produce a Hometown episode. Thanks so much for watching this segment of Discovery, and I will see you next time right here on Hometown. Bye.
Incredible stories. It is humbling to see how many people sacrificed to build a world where we have the comforts and prosperity they never enjoyed, but dreamed of for us. We can't right the wrongs of the past, but we can honor those sacrifices by doing what we can to create a better future for future generations. And despite our common humanity, we are each given the potential for more. Micah 6:8 says, "He has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God." We've all had a great time here in Pendleton today. It's incredible how many new worlds open up when we travel to destinations less than an hour away. Visit and explore the rich history, savor fabulous food, and experience a little taste of the real West, old and new. Okay, you guys, you want to rustle up some ice cream before we hit the road? I think that's a yes. I'll see you next week on our next episode of Hometown.